Two very easy to wear, very versatile and masculine fragrances that are also very affordable, reviewed today. Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content, and for today I've prepared a review of two, as I said, very masculine and easy to wear affordable fragrances. The first one is called Khadlaj Shiyaaka Men, and the second one is called Paris Corner Acadia Intenso. And I'm going to start with the Khadlaj. The fragrance from Khadlaj comes packaged in this black colored box that has some silver and red accents. The things that you should need to know about this one is that the concentration is EDP and the bottle size is 100 milliliters. This is the bottle design of Khadlaj Shiyaaka for Men. As you can see, it comes in this interestingly designed bottle that has again three colors. You got some blacked out parts on the bottom that's actually transparent and you can see the level of the juice. You got the predominantly silver colored part, and then you got some red. It has this sort of small spikes on it that reminds me a little bit of what you get with the Valentino Uomo bottle, at least on the cap itself of the modern bottles. All around an interesting bottle design. Now, Shiyaaka for Men is widely regarded as a great clone of Reflection Men from the brand of Amouage, and I can indeed tell you that this smells pretty similar to Reflection Men. Also, this smells quite similar to one of the later releases from the brand of Gucci, which is called Gucci Guilty Elixir. Although it's not a straight up clone of Elixir, it's something done similar, and in fact I think this fragrance came out way before the Gucci one. But let's first talk about the actual scent of Shiyaaka for Men. I'm going to show you the sprayer in action. The sprayer is decent, not the best one in the world, but still, does its job well enough. And now onto the scent of Shiyaaka for Men. This fragrance is a very interesting fresh scent that feels quite green, feels a little bit spicy, a little bit earthy, with not much sweetness, unlike most of the new releases nowadays that are sold as masculine fragrances. Shiyaaka for Men has almost no sweetness in it at all. There's a hint of sweetness, but just a hint of sweetness. This fragrance smells very clean, smells very floral, very fresh, and woody as well. The opening is slightly spicy, there's a hint of a black pepper note in here, but the dominant notes in the opening are the green notes. You get some jasmine, you get some neroli, there's a hint of an iris note, which adds just a hint of powderness somewhere in the background. But again, it's predominantly spicy, green and woody. And again, with not much sweetness. There's a hint of ambery sweetness in the opening, and then on the dry down you still get a hint of that ambery sweetness, but it's a very faint one. On the dry down, this loses a bit of its spiciness, and it becomes the mix of that green and fresh and also clean feeling notes with some added woodiness. There's some cedar wood, there's some sandalwood. All around this smells very masculine, but also smells quite old school, and there's even a hint of some barbershoppy vibes, at least to my nose. And definitely this has a bit of a mature factor, definitely doesn't smell like a sweet, youthful scent. When it comes to the similarities between this and Reflection Men, as I said, they indeed smell very, very similar to each other. Of course, the Khadlaj fragrance lacks the quality of the Amouage one, also lacks the performance and the depth and the richness of the original fragrance, but in there actually smells pretty similar. And if you are familiar with the way that the Reflection Men smells, you'll probably immediately recognize what Shiyaaka for Men has been inspired by. When it comes to performance, a decent performer, above average for sure, nothing spectacular, but I've been getting somewhere between 7 to 7.5 hours of performance out of Shiyaaka for Men, with actually a surprisingly good projection, and especially at the first about hour and a half, maybe even up to 2 hours if you overspray a little bit. But again, considering that this feels very fresh and very green, the performance actually is surprisingly good, especially also given the price point of this fragrance. So we should expect above average performance. Price wise, now this can depend wildly, varying or based on where you're living in the world. I personally paid about 25 euros to get my bottle, which makes it a fraction of the price of the original scent from Amouage, and thus making it a pretty good deal. And versatility wise, this is a very, very versatile fragrance that can can be worn pretty much all year round. And now moving on to the second fragrance featured in today's video, Acadia Intenso from Emir and Paris Corner. This fragrance is very heavily inspired by Bleu de Chanel perfume. This is the way that the box of Acadia Intenso looks. As you can see, it has a sort of a dual finish. The back part is silver, the front part is blue. Things you should need to know in here: 100 ml bottle size and EDP concentration. And then this is the actual bottle design of Acadia Intenso. It looks a bit squarish, has a lot of heft. The cap is actually metallic and is quite a snug fit. And all around, this fragrance has nothing to do with the bottle design of Bleu de Chanel perfume, which I actually respect a lot. And now let's talk about the scent of Acadia Intenso. As I said, this fragrance is heavily inspired by Bleu de Chanel perfume. Again, the sprayer in action. It's a decent sprayer, although the distribution isn't that much, so probably have to adjust the number of sprays when you're using Acadia Intenso. And the scent itself, if you are familiar with Bleu de Chanel, you'll immediately recognize the opening of Acadia Intenso. It opens up with that very nice mix, very bluish mix of some citruses, a hint of spices, some mintiness in here, and the woodiness of the original fragrance, those woods that the original fragrance is known for. This one has a bit of a green touch, maybe a hint of geranium note, some mint somewhere in the background, which do add a bit of freshness in the opening, but the opening of Acadia Intenso is not as fresh as something that you'll get from the other flankers, the OG Bleu de Chanel EDT, the EDP as well. It's a slightly darker take on that Bleu de Chanel smell, just like Bleu de Chanel perfume actually does it. Although to my nose, this maybe feels a hint fresher in the opening than the original fragrance itself, but definitely smells very, very nice in the air. When this goes into the dry down, it becomes more woody, some sandal, you get some sandalwood, you get some cedar wood, you get a bit of ambery sweetness, maybe a hint of a fruity sweetness as well. This still remains slightly fresh somewhere in the background, giving it a little bit of a barbershoppy vibe, but definitely carries that very distinctive Bleu de Chanel scent profile, that bluish fragrance, scent profile, the king of blue scents, Bleu de Chanel. All around, it's done really, really nicely, and to be honest, I've been quite impressed with Acadia Intenso because there's no harshness, there's no alcohol blast or anything, and it's done really, really nicely. And I'm a huge fan of this fragrance. When it comes to how close this fragrance is to the original, as I said, if you are familiar with the Bleu de Chanel scent profile, you'll immediately recognize what Acadia Intenso has been inspired by. Especially in the air, this smells very, very similar to Bleu de Chanel perfume. When it comes to performance, again, another area where this surprised me quite pleasantly. I've been getting about 8 hours of performance out of Acadia Intenso with a moderate projection meaning the strength of the projection, but this actually projects quite nicely for 2, even maybe up to 2.5 hours if you overspray a little bit. It will not project super strong, but it will sustain that moderate projection for a very long time. Again, another surprising thing about Acadia Intenso, and the performance is pretty much on par with the original fragrance, so that's a great job from Paris Corner. Price-wise, around about the €30 mark, which, given the fact that nowadays Chanel products, Chanel fragrances tend to be very, very expensive, this costs almost like a tenth of the price of the original. Not exactly there, but still basically a fraction of the price of the original scent. And when it comes to versatility, another super versatile fragrance that you can wear pretty much all year round. You can wear for any type of occasion. You can dress this one up, you can dress this one down if you want. You can wear it through the day, through the night, all around, versatility is through the roof. And at the end, a few final words about Shiyaaka for Men and Acadia Intenso. Shiyaaka for Men from Khadlaj is a great interpretation of Reflection Men from Amouage for a fraction of the price. Very versatile, very easy to wear, green, woody fragrance that has a bit of spices, definitely has some barbershoppy vibes, definitely has a bit of a mature vibe, but it's a fragrance that's very easy to wear. You can wear it through the year and has a very decent quality and performance, and all that for a very affordable price. Just keep in mind that this has a bit of a mature age, a bit of a mature factor to it. Probably younger guys may not enjoy this one as much as some of the more mature guys out there, but it's a great fragrance from the brand of Khadlaj. When it comes to Acadia Intenso from Paris Corner, for me this has been a real hidden gem. I was very surprised by this fragrance, by the quality, the performance, and the closeness to the original scent. And again, I'm going to say this for I don't know how many times already, but I've been really surprised by the lack of reviews on this fragrance. I really think that this one deserves more attention and credit that it currently gets. It will get you very close to Bleu de Chanel perfume. It's another very easy to wear masculine fragrance that also brings a lot of compliments because people like the scent of Bleu de Chanel. It's an evergreen type of scent, offers very good quality, very good performance, and all that, again, for a very competitive price. So both fragrances in today's video are real gems in my opinion. And so guys, in today's video I reviewed two masculine, very easy to wear, versatile gems from Khadlaj and Paris Corner. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.